Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Call Blackburn Foundation Repair today.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
No one comes close to the selection of beer, wine, and spirits you'll find at your Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. This month's specials include select Basil Hayden Bourbon at $10 off. Save $6 off the big 175-liter of Fireball, now only $23.99. Price is good at both Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. Off Catron next to Walmart, or the original Mr. Liquor on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City. Plus, follow Mr. Liquor on Facebook for in-store events, allocated bourbon drops, and exclusive in-store barrel picks.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports! And here's what you need to know.
Quarterback Aaron Rodgers is expected to visit the Pittsburgh Steelers. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, he is likely to play for Pittsburgh this season. No agreement for a contract at this time, but it could be finalized during Steelers rookie minicamp over the weekend. Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts officially signed his $15 million franchise tender today per the NFL Wire. Daytime baseball scoreboard, the Cubs extended their win streak to 9 wins as they complete a sweep of the Reds 8-3. Jake McCarthy's grand slam is the deciding factor so far as the Mets are down to their final out. Rockies lead 6-2. The Nationals power past the Twins 75. Guardians closed out the Royals 8-5 in the 9th inning. The Pirates are holding on to a 4-2 lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Round 1 of the Truist Championship at Quail Hollow. Matt McCarthy stands alone at 6 under par. I'm Christopher Fett.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in, everybody. How are you today? Thursday edition of the program. We're ready. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome you in East River. Also here on Fox Sports Rapid City, West River. Let's do it up. It is always a great day in South Dakota. You know that. The Nate Brown Show live. Thanks for making this show possible. We appreciate you. Great guest lineup tonight. Some good stuff. Big news across the board today in sports. We're going to get to it. Big college sports day. Let's get after it. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates, great stations across the state in Rapid City and Sioux Falls, and we're also streaming on X right now at Nate Brown Show. So if you can't catch all of the radio show, bring us up on your phone on X at Nate Brown Show. You've got us. Follow us and watch us live. Also, YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you would. The Nate Brown Show. Search for it on YouTube. The Nate Brown Show, and every show is there live and archived. And Midwest Sports Plus, great partner from Forum Communications, High School Sports Live, and the Nate Brown Show live on Midwest Sports Plus. Thursday edition of the show. What do we got? Maybe a surprise appearance from the all-timer. South Dakota State former head coach John Stiegelmeier. He's in Rapid City tonight. We're communicating with Coach. He's got meetings. He's got that, but you might just get him. We might get him. So we're ready for it. We are ready for Stig. John Stiegelmeier in Rapid City tonight. He's got some book signings going on and all that stuff. So we'll try and catch up with Stig, get his take on South Dakota State football for 2026. So hang on. We hope to have him later this hour. We do have Thor Nystrom in tonight, NFL analyst, Vikings coverage from Thor Nystrom from the Twin Cities, Score North. He's on tap tonight. Thor's in. And college football national writer for FootballScoop.com, Zach Barnett. He has written an apology, a nationwide apology for his thoughts on the college football playoff. Zach's outspoken, unfiltered, and Zach Barnett is on tonight from FootballScoop.com. What's his take on expanding the football playoff? Zach's coming up. Thursday happy hour is on tap. Next hour, Rob Kegron is ready to go. So a full hour with Rob Kegron tonight, national radio host out of New York City, and he's live in studio. Rob's coming up on a Thursday happy hour. Hey, get in tonight if you want in, 605-720-1067. We'll try and take your calls. We'll get your texts. Do the best we can there with the time we have. So we appreciate you joining the conversation on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. 605-720-1067. You've got us. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, locally owned and operated. 2 locations, East River in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Stop by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Eat well. Really good. Best buffet in town by far. Barron's Wilson text line ready to go. If you can't call the show, text the show. 605-720-1067. All right. A couple of things here today. Couple of things I want to discuss. They're pretty big things, really. One South Dakota sports topic I want to get into that's like really big, and I don't think a lot of people know about this. I'm serious. And so hang on for that. And we'll kind of tie these in a little bit. But here's the other one nationwide today. So it's official. If you haven't heard about it, you've been working hard today, you've been on your feet, you've been grinding. The men's basketball tournament and the women's basketball tournament is going to 76 teams. So I told you this was coming. We saw the news. What was this, last week only? So, I mean, this moved quick. Maybe just the last couple of weeks. I know that. This moved quick, and I said, well, looks like they're going to go to 76. I know it was last week on this show I said, I'm not going to whine and complain and yell. I'm not going to be hot take guy and just say this is the worst thing ever. So I'm not going to be that guy. There's people that are upset about this, by the way, and maybe you are as well. So let me open this up. Let me open it up. A couple of things for you on the tournament going to 76 teams. Let me know if you're upset by that, what that means that you're upset by that. And I just want, there's some people that say, well, this is just all about the money, and it is. What is not all about the money? Everything's about the money. Everything. So everybody, the reason I'm not going to go crazy on it, I don't think this upsets the apple cart that much. I really don't think this upsets the tournament experience that much. I know it's popular to have a hot, you got to get upset and you got to get wound up and stuff like that. I don't think this really upsets the tournament that much. How it's going to lay out, if you haven't seen this today, the new bracket is actually out. Like the format's out. And so I put this on Twitter so you can follow us there. At Nate Brown Show, and you can see some of this. I put this out there, the format for the NCAA tournament, and they're going to have these first 12 games. They're going to have these games Tuesday and Wednesday, and there's going to be the lower seeds playing each other, and then some middle round seeds playing each other. So if I'm not going to line it out on a radio show, but the 11s are going to play. Some 12s are going to play. Okay, some 12s are going to play. Then you're going to have 15s play each other and 16s play each other. So this goes to what I was pointing out last week. If you're a Jacks fan, a Yotes fan, for example, if you get in the tournament and you're a 15 seed, more than likely now you're going to play somebody that's a 15 on a Tuesday or Wednesday. and you could win that tournament game, get some money. Yeah, you could get some money, and then you'd have to play like Kansas or Duke or whoever it is, 15 versus a 2. So that's how this is going to line up. You're going to have some 11s playing each other. That's kind of like the first 4 was. Some 12s. So here's my question to you. Here's the question of the day. I have 2 of them. I want to know if you are upset about the 76 teams. Let me know if you're really upset. Give me some reasoning there behind it, or if it's just, well, this isn't tradition and this stinks. This should never have happened. It's bull. And I'm all good with that. I like therapy. So, but the question of the day I have: are you going to fill out your bracket now on Monday night or Tuesday morning? And if you're thinking about this as you drive home tonight, you're like, wait, what's that mean? Well, you're going to have so many games. You're going to have 12 games, guys. You are going to have 6 games on Tuesday, 6 games on Wednesday, and you're going to say, well, half of them are the low teams. Like, who cares about the 16s and 15s? Yeah, but I'm telling you, if South Dakota State or USD is a 15, well, you're going to care about that, so that's going to be close to home. We're going to care about that. Of course we're going to fill that out. And then you cannot miss half of the field when it comes to some 11s and 12s. You can't just cheat and not count the 12 games, 12 versus 12. We can't cheat on that. So I'm telling you, I think our March Madness scenario does change a little bit. The bracket is out today, 76 teams. It's going to start in March 2027, this next season. And you're going to have to fill out your bracket, well, I'm telling you, Monday night or Tuesday morning. How does that make you feel? Is the world just wrong these days? Are we just out of control? Let me ask you that question of the day tonight. Will you fill out your bracket early now? Will you fill out your bracket early? That's my question of the day. Tuesday morning is going to be your last minute. You got to do it Monday night. Man, you don't even know what's going on by Monday. You just grinded out your first day of work. You're like, Selection Sunday happened. They're going to have to move stuff up, right? Are they going to have to move everything up? They haven't pointed that out yet. So we usually have Selection Sunday, and then it gives us a few days. You get in the bracket pools, do all that. Are you going to fill out your bracket with the 11s, the 12s, the 15s, the 16s? The first 12 games of the tournament are Tuesday and Wednesday. And what say you? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
I usually fill mine out either late Sunday night or early a.m. into Monday.
Wow.
But here's the cool thing, Nate. It doesn't matter. It's going to be eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because none of them teams will play after the second game.
Okay. So you're not going to get hurt too much. That's what you're saying.
No, I think it's a joke, but it's life. You move on. Kind of like college football. Let's be honest, Nate. It comes down to about 3 or 4 teams every year.
Yes.
College football.
Yes,
so
you are right.
So you can have 50 teams. It's still going to come down to 3 or 4 teams, so it ain't going to hurt no one's bracket.
You are exactly right on that. It's going to come down to the real teams. Same story with the men's basketball tournament. And you already fill yours out. I do not. Monday morning? Sunday night? Man,
well, you're one of them guys that you like that computer. You like that. I look at the gambling aspect of it.
All right.
And I usually don't bet the first couple rounds in the game.
I got you.
But, with the football, it's the same thing.
Appreciate you.
You might as well make it a 40 team, 40 whatever.
All right, I got you. Thanks for getting in.
But here's the funny part.
Yes.
I hope that a team does win or lose, and then South Dakota State neighbor will go, hey, we made it to the tournament.
Yes.
Then I could laugh at it.
Oh, come on. Take it easy. All right. Thanks for getting in. I appreciate you. 605-720-1067 is our number. Our question of the day on the text line as well. 76-team tournament's official. That's the big news of today. It is official. We saw it coming, and everyone said, well, there's still some things they have to take care of. No, it's official. How much money is going to be distributed now to the teams? How much more money is going to be distributed? They say $131 million extra for schools over the next 6 years. $131 million extra for schools over the next 6 years. How much more money is the TV side going to make? They're going to make millions more as well. They say one of the big reasons for this number is the amount of commercials that they're going to do now. Hey, I have a show, man. We got to play commercials. I understand this. They're going to expand commercial time, and the news saying today the beer and liquor industry will be at the front of the line for the extra commercials. Imagine that. March Madness going to get more money to the schools. CBS, TV partners, Discovery, Warner Bros., they're going to make more money off of more commercials. And then South Dakota State and USD, if they get in the tournament, they're going to be the number 15, maybe the number 15, and they're going to have to play on a Tuesday to try and get into Thursday. Are you upset by that? Are you going to fill out your bracket? Our question of the day. Let's look at the poll results tonight. 605-720-1067. Listener text here. Patrick says, this question requires some serious thought. I'll let you know. You're going to let me know by next year? By March 2027? You're going to let me know if you're going to fill out your bracket on Monday night? You're going to have it done like our last caller? I don't fill out my bracket. You know when I fill it out? Like Wednesday night. I fill out my bracket Wednesday night. I don't fill that thing out early. I'm trying to see how this is going to play out. I don't fill it out. But now with 12 games, my point is, guys, with 12 games Tuesday and Wednesday, 6 games each day, I think you got to kind of fill it out. Not for the 16s, not for the 15s, for the 11s games and the 12s. How many times do you have a 12 over a 5? We've had that a lot. The 12 has beaten the 5 on a Thursday. Well, now we're not going to know who the real 12 is until like the end of Tuesday night or the end of Wednesday night. You're not going to know who the 12 is. You can't just guess. You can't just not fill it out. I'm going to get after this tonight because Rob Kagron's coming in next hour, and Rob's convinced he's not going to fill out his bracket until the real 64 teams. He's the tournament's already started Tuesday. Those are the real teams. They're telling you right now. Those are the real teams. 50% of you are saying I will fill it out early. 50% of you are saying I'm going to skip the extra games. Oh, what's your bracket pool going to do? Are you going to have Larry running the bracket pool? Is he going to start the bracket pool only Thursday? Is the bracket pool only going to start by Thursday, or is he going to start it with the extra 12 games? Man, we got a lot to think about. Listener text, it should be an 80-team bracket, and no, I will not fill out the extra games. The tournament doesn't start until Thursday. Oh, this is good stuff. What do you think I'm going to do? In all seriousness, I just tell you, I wait last minute. So I fill mine out usually like Wednesday night. We do the family Brown Bracket Challenge. We do the Brown Family Bracket Challenge. We do that Wednesday night. There's no activities going on, all that stuff. So we do it Wednesday night, and we fill out the brackets together, me and my family. Now we're going to have to do it Monday. Oh, my kids are going to cry. They're not going to believe it. We got to do it Monday. What's happened to tradition? What's happened to March Madness? Just fill it out Monday and get with it. That's what I'm telling you on that listener text. Fill it out Monday and be ready for it. All right. We have some big news that I'm going to talk about tonight, and this is very interesting to me. So if you've listened to the show, I've talked about South Dakota and sports betting, and we have sports betting in Deadwood. We have some great partners, and I love going to the sports book. Tin Lizzie and Cadillac Jacks, that's our headquarters, and it's just great. And if you haven't experienced it, you should really check it out. If you want to watch March Madness, for example, that's the place to do it. All of the games, all the excitement, all that stuff. Now, South Dakota has looked at this past winter to do mobile sports betting regulated through the Deadwood licensed casinos. So like BetMGM in Deadwood would have their mobile sports app, and the legislature was having a bill. We talked to Casey Crabtree here on the show and said, are you going to get this mobile sports wagering so people in Sioux Falls and wherever could bet on their phones through BetMGM, regulated through Deadwood? Well, that went down in flames again. And some people, I understand, they're against it. Some people are for it. You want the revenue. You want to keep it in state. Well, guess what's happened? Guess what's happened? In 2026, FanDuel, DraftKings, these big companies, they've now opened up the prediction markets. So they're not calling it a sports bet, a sports book. FanDuel is now in South Dakota with a prediction market, and you can actually, like, they don't call it wager on it, but it's a prediction with real money on your phone. And people, you can do this from Sioux Falls to Deadwood, from wherever. So this is big. I don't think a lot of people understand this. South Dakota legislature tried saying, hey, let's do mobile sports wagering. Some of the representatives and senators said, we've got this. Let's do this. We're losing out on revenue, and it's going to other states. Well, now they missed the window again. Now the only place you can bet on sports is in Deadwood at the sports books. But FanDuel and DraftKings are trying to, I think, go around, do a little loop-de-loop saying, hey, we've got the prediction markets. It's called predictions. It's not bets. Well, wait, it's real money. It's real games. This isn't just picking players. This is picking games. And FanDuel and DraftKings have it mobile. This is a big story. I'm going to discuss it more later tonight. Rob Kagron is in tonight. We're going to get into that. This is wild. Did South Dakota miss this? They've tried doing the mobile sports wagering through Deadwood the last couple of years. Couldn't even get out of the legislature to a public vote. And now the national companies are coming in on the prediction market. This is like the Kalshi stuff. And now FanDuel and DraftKings are saying, well, we'll do it mobile right on phones. We'll just call it predictions instead of bets. It's wild. It is something. South Dakota, are we going to catch up here? Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, Thor Nystrom's in. We'll talk NFL, Vikings, Score North, and more with Thor coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
We all know moms work hard, and Menards makes it easy to shop for perfect Mother's Day gifts that will show her how much you care. We've got great gifts for mom. Spend more time outdoors with our impressive selection of patio furniture, whether relaxing in style or adding color and beauty to a backyard space. Trust Menards to help you make this Mother's Day just as special as she is. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
The following radio ad is Good Fun Squad approved.
My name is Jenny, and I'm the lady at the South Dakota Lottery who writes out those big checks for our winners. It's a lot of fun, but we've had so many big winners lately, my hand is tired. There was a $600,000 winner, a $2 million winner, a $4 million winner. That's a lot of zeros, and not normal zeros, big check zeros, and the winning never stops. That's why I'm learning to write with both hands.
Good fun.
Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling surplus vehicles and equipment for the city of Spearfish, South Dakota, including a 1984 Tucker Snowcat, a 2003 International 7600 dump truck with a snowplow, a 2019 Western truck mount sandbox. Here's 2 snow blades, an 09 Dodge Journey, and a 2010 Ford Edge, several pickups, steel cutoff, chainsaw, backhoe bucket, trencher bucket, and much more. Auction again begins to close 6 p.m. this evening. For more info and to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly cloudy skies tonight with lows around 44. Winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear tomorrow, 72. Tomorrow night, 48. High temperatures reach up to 64 Saturday with thunderstorms likely. 71, a blend of clouds and sun Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 60 degrees.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, just getting going on a Thursday on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Are you upset by the NCAA men's basketball tournament going to 76 teams? Are you upset by that? I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's just I'm just going to watch it the same way. I'm going to fill out my bracket a little earlier. I'm not going to procrastinate this time. I'm going to fill out a little earlier. I got a listener text on this saying, if you think the 76-team tournament's going to favor the little guys, you're crazy. Well, no, I don't. It's not going to favor the little guys at all. The little guys aren't going to. They never win anyway. The little guys aren't going to win anymore. It's getting worse and worse. So if South Dakota State or USD can get in on a Tuesday night as a 15 and play another 15, you can win that game. That's money to your conference. So that's the only benefit I see there for South Dakota State or USD. You can actually get, because you're not going to win as a 15 on Thursday. You are not going to win anymore. That's over. So the upsets are few and far between now. It's too much money with the big boys. Thor Nystrom's on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Score North out of the Twin Cities. Man, these guys are hot right now. They're doing a great job. Score North. Thor, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Good, man. I haven't had you on since the draft. I gave it a little breather, okay? A little breather for you. But now I got I got to get your read. Just go with the Vikings, first-round draft pick, Caleb Banks. Some people are on the side of that. That's a risky reach. Some people say, well, they need a D tackle that can make plays. Where do you stand?
Yeah, it's a pick that's all going to come down to medicals. You know, they rolled the dice on that one for sure. It was a little rich for me when you factor in the risk there, but they have more information on that than we get in the media, you know, as far as the medicals go. And they are, or their medical team is bullish on their read on the foot injury or the foot injuries that Caleb Banks has suffered here over the last calendar year. So it's all going to come down to if they're right on that. If they are, yeah, that was a top 10, top 12 talent in the class. So if his body doesn't betray him, they're going to get value back on that. If the body does betray him, no, obviously that was a pretty rich pick to make that selection.
Okay, we've already focused on next year. You don't have your big board done. I understand, but people say the Arch Manning deal is he's got to be the number one pick. Are you in that camp?
That's where I'd peg it right now. Yeah, you know, the frame, he has the arm talent. He's athletic, too, is a shocking thing about watching him when he gets out on the move. You know, you think about the other Mannings or whatever. Certainly is not a lock, you know, for that. But, you know, obviously the bloodlines are going to help him quite a bit, too. But we have a lot of football to play till we get there. We have a full season to go. So there's so many interesting quarterback prospects there. I'm not going to make him a lock, but he would be 1-1 on my board right now, yeah.
How much does the Manning name impact his draft status? Seriously.
It's going to matter for sure. I mean, bloodlines matter in the evaluation of every prospect. You know, it just does, and you can't really get better bloodlines than that.
Thor Nystrom on tonight from Score North out of the Twin Cities. Find him on X at ThorKU. So I want your take on the Steelers. Looks like they're bringing in Aaron Rodgers this weekend. Maybe they'll get a deal done. How much would you pay Aaron Rodgers here? They did a $15 million tender, but looks like he's going to get more than that. What would you pay Aaron Rodgers this year?
Just because they're in a tough spot, if you want to give them a little bump from that, I guess that's fine. They need to find their quarterback of the future. You know, they're kind of in that NFL neighborhood that you don't want to be in, where you're spinning your wheels between getting into the playoffs by the skin of your teeth and getting your teeth kicked in, or else just missing the playoffs by a game, whatever. A bit of a quagmire that we know pretty well here in Minneapolis. So we'll see if they can end up getting their quarterback of the future in the next class. But yeah, I think you just have to get through one more year with Rodgers, and you're probably going to go, 9-8. Or 8-9, so somewhere around there. Maybe if they're lucky, they go 10-7, make the playoffs.
Does he get like $20 million, $25 million?
18 to 20 seems fair to me. I mean, the only thing he's got is leverage there. It's not a quarterback that you can even say is a top 25 quarterback walking the earth anymore. But it's just you're in a bad spot if you're the Steelers. They can't throw Drew Allar out there. Drew Allar wasn't ready for the Big Ten last September before he got injured. He's coming off a year-long injury, and I don't think any of us that do this for a living think that Will Howard has long-term NFL starter ability, and I don't know that I would want to go into this season with him as starter either. So you're in kind of a tricky spot if you're Pittsburgh right now.
Speaking of money, Thor, lot being said about the Vikings cutting their money over $100 million. Used to spend a lot last year, now not spending as much. What are they, 29th in the league? What should we think about that?
I actually think they're 31st in the league in this year cash spending. So they went from second, as far as I remember, second most in the NFL last year, second least in the NFL this year. And a part of that's natural. The cash and cap thing, you have to jive it at some point, right? And so they essentially decided to do that this year by greatly reining back their spending. That was the message from ownership coming out of the season. Is like, you guys have the draft to improve the roster. That's it. Like, we ain't spending this offseason. It just is what it is. So the front office, the coaching staff, they're doing what they can to kind of cobble the roster together, and they have a lot of interesting pieces, but you had some big swings and misses in free agency last year. The Jonathan Allen signing was disastrous. The Javon Hargrave signing was disastrous. They didn't get immediate dividends from Will Fries, who's just kind of an okay starter. Kelly was injured for half the season. So, yeah, they're going to rein back the spending, and the Vikings are kind of in an in-between period right now. I don't even think they know what the team is going to look like this coming fall. I think they're going to let that inform them what is going to be a more aggressive 2027 offseason, I think.
Okay, so that's interesting. So what's the story with trying to get Jauan Jennings? Would that be a big piece for the offense?
Yeah, the Vikings, one of the holes that they have remaining, they have a gaping hole at wide receiver 3. Now, we think that they're going to play more 12 personnel this season. They hired Frank Smith, the old offensive lieutenant for McDaniel with the Dolphins. They use a lot of fullback, a lot of 12 personnel. Then the Vikings drafted Bredesen in the 5th round, the best fullback in this class. So we're going to see more of that. But the wide receiver 3 thing, O'Connell has been one of the heaviest proponents, users of 3 wide receiver sets in the NFL during his tenure. So it's clearly important. We just don't know what the percentage is going to be. But, yeah, Jennings is asking for too much money right now. The report recently was that he wanted wide receiver 2 money. And that report basically came as he was flying out of Minneapolis. So I think it's pretty clear the message he was sending about the offer that he felt he got. I don't have any information on that, but they clearly felt like it was light. But every offer that Jauan Jennings and Drew Rosenhaus has gotten this offseason, they have felt is light. So we'll see if they end up getting what they want there. But if I was the Vikings, I wouldn't let them use me for leverage. There's too many wide receivers still out there. You got Keenan Allen, you got DeAndre Hopkins, you have Stephon Diggs, you have Deebo Samuel. There's a whole bunch of them. So I'm not getting used for leverage by Juwan Jennings. I give him a fair 1-year offer, and then I'd move on.
I think I saw you say you might look at bringing back Stephon Diggs. Say it ain't so. What's going on?
I would definitely consider it if Stephon Diggs was okay being the third wide receiver in an offense that's going to play a little more 12 personnel next year. Is he going to be okay with that? I mean, that's what the question would be. That's more of a question for him. But if I'm the Vikings, I'm certainly kicking the tires to find out. They need a 1-year option at wide receiver. It doesn't need to be more than that. They can figure out a long-term thing after this season, but they do need a 1-year stopgap. They did last year, too. You recall 1 week before the season, they traded essentially what was a 4th-round pick for Adam Thielen, who had the world's largest fork sticking out of his back. Yeah. I would heavily suggest for the Vikings try to address that before everyone else knows that you're desperate at the end of August and can hold you over a barrel. So I expect them to figure that out before then. But we'll see where the market goes with that. And if the Vikings, if they're going to go more to 12 personnel, should we actually be talking more about a T3 kind of acquisition like David Njoku? That's what I'm sort of curious about here.
Thor Nystrom breakdown of the Vikings. Score North out of Minneapolis. He's on X at Thor KU. Now this is a dicey situation here, and I'm going to ask it. And it's the big topic in the NFL is Vrabel and Diana Rossini. Not about their affairs, their alleged affairs here. It's about, is there more to this with Rossini if it's a long, ongoing thing, and her relationship to other teams with information? Is that a real NFL thing?
In my opinion, it needs to be. It has to be. I don't care about the affair. I don't. They're two consenting. I can have my personal opinion about it, but as far as that goes, that's their choice. But where it becomes problematic here is the reporting that Rossini has done over the years, whether it was on the Titans when Vrabel was there, with the Patriots. There's a couple of famous examples of this that need to be looked into. One of them was when Rossini tweeted out a thing about Morgan Moses with a Patriots logo on it, where the only way that he could have agreed with the Patriots at the time when she tweeted that out is if they had tampered with him. Some of those, they just have to be looked into. And then you also have the thing this year, you had this one of the closest Coach of the Year award votes that we've seen. There's 50 AP award voters. Last year, the AP released every single ballot. They said they would again this year, but then we have one of the closest votes we've ever seen. Mike Vrabel ends up winning that vote, and now they won't release the votes and they won't explain why. That's weird. That's weird. One of your 50 voters appeared to have a years-long relationship with the guy that won very close, and now without explanation, you are the paragon of virtue. You're the purveyors of truth. You're the Associated Press. Now you're just not going to release it when you said you would, and you also won't explain why. They need to explain why. I mean, I think that this is just, pretty common sense, basic stuff. So, yeah, this story isn't over yet.
Okay, is Mike Vrabel solid with the Patriots? Everything, there's something new every day on this. There's TMZ this, TMZ that. Is Vrabel solid with the Patriots?
It would certainly appear like the team's ownership does not want to move beyond Mike Vrabel. They brought him out the season ticket holder thing here recently, and they're playing a little bit of hide the ball from the media with Vrabel. They gave him the day off on day 3 of the draft, and there was weird reporting on that. And then all of a sudden, as the draft is going, we're getting a photo shoot of Mike Vrabel in an airport gift shop, apparently shopping for sweatshirts for his wife. I didn't really get that either. You had a bizarre draft process there at the end for the Patriots. There's just a lot going on with it right now, and I know that it seems like the Patriots do not want to move on from Mike Vrabel, but yeah, at a certain point here, you wonder what the tipping point will be. And my whole thing, I think the league needs to investigate this, and depending on the conclusions of that investigation, that could also speak towards the Patriots' ultimate decision there. But he appears to be on firm ground with them right now, but the foundation, the ground beneath it, is still quaking.
Thor Nystrom, great stuff tonight, getting us started. Follow these guys. Score North in Minneapolis. They got it going on. Thor, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you, Nate.
Thanks a lot. Thor Nystrom. Follow the guys at scorenorth.com, live in the Twin Cities. Thor, NFL draft analyst and Vikings analyst here on the Nate Brown Show. Oh, boy, the days of our lives. Wow, I mean, this is weird stuff. The alleged affair stuff, I'm not into that. Like, I had some people ask me about that. I'm not into that discussion, where I turn this into a Barstool show. So I'm not into that. But I am curious, like, did Diana Rossini have inside information from other teams in her reporting and whatever she talked to other teams about over the years? Did she give that stuff to Mike Vrabel? That I'm kind of interested in that. That's what Thor Nystrom's saying, is the NFL should investigate the backside of that. So, all right. Let's go to college football with Zach Barnett. He's got an apology to make for the entire nation. Zach Barnett, national college football writer from Football Scoop. He has his own thoughts on the college football playoff expanding to 24 teams on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's May 2028. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa.
for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City across the state. Thanks for checking in. National radio host Rob Kegron joins us every Thursday. He's live in studio. We tell you it's New York City's best. I mean, that's true, right? Him and Chris Mad Dog Russo, good friends. Who gets more wound up, Mad Dog or Rob Kegron? We find out every Thursday. Rob's coming in. Thursday happy hour coming up next hour with Rob Kegron here on the Nate Brown Show. We're going to try and track down John Stiegelmeier, South Dakota State former head coach, legendary national champion, and he's in Rapid City tonight. Coach has some meetings going on. He said, hey, let's try and do this, so we'll see if we can get Coach Stig talking Jacks football. Zach Barnett's on first, national college football writer, footballscoop.com. I like Zach because he gives opinions. Some guys, they waffle around. He gives opinions. And I thought he told me this college football expansion to the playoff was not going to be great. I thought I remember that. And now he's apologizing. I just saw this story. He's apologizing. All right, Zach, let's clear it up. How are you?
Good, Nate. Good to be here.
I appreciate your time. So I thought I talked to you a few weeks ago, and you weren't a huge fan of the expansion, but now what's the deal? You wrote a story, footballscoop.com. What's your opinion of 24-team college football playoff?
Well, after the AFCA executive board voted to endorse expanding the playoff to, quote, the maximum number of allowable teams or something to that nature, they didn't put a specific number on it. Well, we all know that 24 is the ultimate number floating around that at least the Big Ten wants to get to. Initially, my thought was to hop on my soapbox and rant about all the mistakes they're making and the flawed thinking and whistling past the graveyard that the coaches, the ADs, the presidents, the commissioners, that they're all doing. And then I realized that there's enough yelling and negativity in the world as it is, and I might have a better shot of making my point and cutting through the noise that if I just went in completely the opposite direction and just sarcastically said, yeah, you guys are right, nothing bad can happen, this is going to be great, all your critics are fake, and just go ahead and go with it. In fact, you'd be stupid not to. And so I can't sit here and say that any athletic director has read it, but I know it's gotten as much of a reaction as anything I've written in a long time.
Okay, so what are people saying? Are they agreeing with you? Where does the college football fan sit on going to 24 teams?
Well, I think that's a great place to start because, I haven't seen Gallup or anyone like that go out and actually poll this thing, but I've seen a number of online polls. And the highest I've ever seen the approval for 24, or the preference for 24, is 14%. And usually it's about 9%. And so, maybe there's been an example in the business world of the customer base approving of some new product at 9%, and the suits were actually right, and once the public was served it, then they ate it up and asked for seconds. I'm sure that's happened. But I think it's far more likely that something that 9% of the public wants then fails. So I think it's just the idea that, well, we know what our customers want more than they do, and screw them because we're making more money and we're going to do it anyway. I really think it's flawed thinking.
Is there one worst thing about going to 24 teams? If you could tell me, what's the one worst thing?
I think it's the regular season, what it would do to the regular season. Okay. I mean, that's what's made this sport has always had its flaws. I mean, going back to people want to romanticize even the pre-BCS days, and I mean, people were frustrated. There's a reason that the BCS started, and nationalizing the sport and crowning a true national champion has been really good for the sport, and don't let it say otherwise. But even with all its fault, we could always say in the college football community, hey, our regular season matters. We don't go through the motions in our regular season. Our regular season is our playoff. And that went away a little bit with the 14 playoff, although, Florida State in 2023 went undefeated and still didn't make it. It went away a lot in 2024 with the move to 12 teams. A part of me will always hurt that Michigan-Ohio State upset in 2024, that it didn't knock Ohio State out of the playoff picture. I hate that team was allowed to go on and win the national championship. And, when they did, they were the best team. But I hate a little bit that they were still allowed to go play. But moving forward, if I'm an Ohio State fan in the 24 team world, it would take a Tattoo-Gate level scandal that decimated my roster for me to miss the 24 team playoff. And so if that's the case, why do I even get out of bed to watch these noon games? Even if we lose to Oregon, we're still making it. If we could lose to Minnesota, we're still going to make it. We'd have to. It's how you actually have to know the material really well to get a 0 on a test in high school. Well, it would be like that level of failure for an Ohio State to miss the playoff. And the Tony Petitis of the world will say, yeah, but look at all the different. Look at all these new games that would mean something that don't mean anything now. And I guess if you want. I guess that's correct in a way, but the games that he's talking about are 5-4 Nebraska and Matt Rule saying, "Hey, we win our last 3. We have a real shot at that 23 seed." And don't urinate on my head and tell me it's raining, Tony. Those aren't the games. In that example, Nebraska is not a national championship quality team. They shouldn't be within 10 miles of a national championship bracket. And so that's not what college football has ever been about.
Does this counter argument, I'm gonna tie onto that. 24 teams, he's trying to tell you, well, there's other games, important games that matter. What about the fan bases for the Huskers? What about the fan bases that maybe stay engaged longer to try and be in the 24-team field? Is that legitimate, the fan bases to stay interested?
I guess I thought that in America we weren't in favor of socialism, and we weren't in favor of trophy culture, and we got to pass out lollipops to these fan bases of teams that can barely stay above 500 in conference play. College football has a lot of problems, and Northwestern fans, Mississippi State fans, checking out because their team has taken on a 4th loss. To me, that doesn't make the list of the top 1,000. And another thing that really bothers me about this discussion that most people, this sleight of hand that the suits are trying to pull on all of us, is they say, oh, well, the FCS has 24 teams. Division II has 30. Division III, they have 40 teams in the playoff, which is true. Yeah, that is true. But they give a bid to every single one of their conference champions, and we're certainly not going to do that in FBS.
Yeah.
So don't bring up these other divisions and then tell me you're not inviting the Conference USA champion and the Sun Belt champion. And frankly, I'd rather see Liberty or Western Michigan in this thing than Nebraska or Northwestern if they're the 7th place Big Ten team. I'd much rather see that. But, of course, that's not going to happen.
Okay, I am going to ask you, what do you think is going to happen when we go to 24 teams? How many group of 6 teams do you think consistently get in? Do you think it's only 1 or 2 out of 24?
I'm not willing to concede that 24 is inevitable.
Okay.
Because I think one of the things that they're counting on, and they do, the leaders do this to us. They do it far too often to us here in America. It seems like in Europe they don't get away with this that often, but they get out the message that, hey, it's inevitable. Don't fight it. Well, it's inevitable because you're counting on me to not stand up to you and bully you into backing away from this bad idea. So I resist the idea that 24 is inevitable. But another thing that bothers me about this is the latest discussion that I've seen is, Tony Petitti threw out his cockamamie idea of pre-awarding bids based on the number of 4 for the Big Ten and SEC, 2 for the Big Ten, or the Big 12 and the ACC, and so on. And that was a terrible idea, and unfortunately he's backed off that. But the latest seems to be, well, we'll just go no auto bids, and everything's an at-large, but we'll have one group of 5 or group of 6 auto bid. And I would be so insulted if I was a group of 6 coach. Like, you're telling me we have to have a charity bid? One of our teams isn't good enough to be in the top 24? Are you kidding me? And, of course, I mean, last year there were 2. I mean, I could see in the old days there'd probably be 3 or 4, but the group of 6 has been hollowed out so much, and that's a separate conversation, but probably 1 or 2 per year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know. I don't think they're going to let a bunch of those teams in. Last one for Zach Barnett. His story's up at footballscoop.com. He's fighting the good fight, trying to not go to 24. Do you think the group of 6 will eventually play their own playoff? That's people throw that around.
Yes and no. I wrote a story last week about the American commissioner, Tim Fernetti, has had an idea that he's floated for a couple of years, that he re-socialized recently, about doing a group of 6 playoff, but basically making it an NIT. And the group of 6 representative, whoever that may be in a given year, they go to the quote-unquote big boy playoff, but the champions of the other 5 conferences, and I'm filling in the blanks here, but presumably the runner-up of whatever conference sent their champ to the real playoff, they play in a group of 6 playoff. And, I mean, that's a little bit weird. I guess, you know, I hope that the championship trophy has an asterisk in place of a football if they go through with this, because you're not really the group of 6 champion if the best team isn't even in your tournament. But having said that, I mean, last bowl season, the MAC champion and the Sun Belt champion, or the Conference USA champion, played in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and less than 1 million people watched it, and less than 10,000 attended, because it was in the middle of the day on a pre-Christmas Monday. So certainly we can. I mean, that's an interesting game that we can, and I think the public would be a lot more keen to open that present if it was put into a shinier bow with fancier wrapping paper.
Yeah. Now, I'm with you on that a little bit. I don't know where that's going to go. A lot of things coming up in college football. The men's and women's basketball tournament just went to 76 teams today. Where's college football going? Zach Barnett, his latest piece at footballscoop.com. He's on X at Zach_Barnett. I always appreciate the time, Zach. Thanks.
Anytime, Nate.
Appreciate it. Zach Barnett, good stuff there. His story out on the college football playoff potential expansion at footballscoop.com. Coming right back with Stig. You might know him. John Stiglmeyer, live next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds to share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's May 2028. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with 0 regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every
I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, welcome back in across the state. Thanks for making this show possible. We appreciate you guys. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show is on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Speaking of Rapid City, John Stiglmeier's in town. You guys know this? We got to help this out. The Jack book out there if you haven't seen this, okay? It's about John Stiglmeier and the rise of South Dakota State football with Tanner Castora writing it. And John Stiglmeier is going to be there meeting Jacks, West River Jacks at Thirsties tonight. And he's live on the Nate Brown Show before the event gets going. Coach, good to get you back on. How are you?
I'm doing super, Nate. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to talk to you. I've been seeing a lot of people say, hey, Coach Stig's been going around. He's been East River. He's been going around with this book. Tell me about this book, Stig and the Rise of South Dakota State Football. What are people getting from this book if they haven't gotten it?
Well, they get somewhat of a historical view of SDSU football. Tanner did it. The author, Tanner Castora, did a ton of research through sports information directors and archives and so on. And then he interweaves that once we kind of enter the, he interweaves our life, really, because it talks about our youth, talks about our family, talks about my time, just growing up as a coach, if I can use that terminology. And it's an intimate look. It's I can't tell you the number of people that have said, because they follow, there's some really great Jackrabbit fans out there, and they read the book and they go, I didn't know that about you. And I thought, well, you don't live with us, so you weren't going to know that about us. But Tanner almost lived with us, and it was a fun experience, honoring experience.
Inside look into John Stiglmeier and the South Dakota State football program that, of course, hit the pinnacle. And you're in Rapid City tonight. What have you enjoyed? You've been going around kind of meeting Jacks fans, and some Jackrabbit alums have joined you. What do you enjoy about these events?
Just the passion people have for the Jackrabbits, and the stories they tell. And Josh Ronick, the leading rusher at South Dakota State, is going to be there tonight to sign books also with us. It's just been a cool journey, and honestly, there's some people that come up and remind me that I taught them racquetball, in the 1980s, late 80s, so it's been a little bit of historical review for me also.
I like it. John Stiegelmeier on tonight, South Dakota State, longtime head football coach. A new book is out. If you haven't seen it, they'll be having the copies tonight. He's going to be at Thirsties, downtown Rapid City. Stig and the Rise of South Dakota State Football. New book is out. So come and meet Coach Stig and shoot it around a little bit. Hey, I want to ask you some football questions. That's why I have you as well. Dan Jackson, first year. Gets through. There's change. There's a lot of stuff. There's injuries to the quarterback. There, a lot of things happen in that first year. What did you talk to Coach Jackson a lot? How did that first year go in your assessment for him?
Well, first of all, there's real high expectations for the SDSU football program, and but I think for what he came into. Phenomenal. I mean, he had 68 new players. He had all new coaches. He had, when he walked into a building the day he got there, and I greeted him, and we were the only two people other than his dad in the building. So, phenomenal leader, phenomenal care of the term. I want everybody to hear this. Cherish the term student athlete, and that is getting beat up and wore down and abused, and he literally honors that, cherishes it, and will always treat his guys like student athletes.
How do you maintain a program in the FCS level, Coach, in this new world of big programs paying money to try and get your players that you develop? How do you maintain a high level of success?
Well, a lot of people use the term culture. We always talked about family. There's no greater organization than a family, and I know there's a lot of dynamics there, but Dan has maintained that. He's really made it better. And so, yeah, there's two guys on the team right now, Nate, that were offered over $1 million to leave, and they stayed. And so if you're number one, it starts with recruiting the right young man, the type of young man that's always been recruited to South Dakota State football, and then giving them a place where they feel loved and can compete in any arena they want. That's still the answer. And unfortunately, that is not the national approach. The national approach now is if you're not serving us, you're gone. Go to the transfer portal. Kids that aren't being served or that aren't getting enough are transferring, and that goes back to recruiting the right young man, specifically in football.
John Stiegelmeier's on tonight, South Dakota State head football coach all the years, and book signing tonight, Thirsties, downtown Rapid City. I encourage Jackrabbit fans and sports fans in Rapid City, stop on by tonight. They'll be there with Jackrabbit fans. Okay. So I'm looking at it saying the schedule's officially out. I saw the dates and all that stuff. Jack's just released that. No North Dakota State. That's the big mark. What's your honest feeling about NDSU, the Dakota marker, off the schedule?
Well, it hurts. It's in a human feelings, it's kind of a sad feeling. But the reality is, they got an invitation. They had prepared just like South Dakota State is prepared. Doesn't make one better than the other. It just means they got an invitation and they went, and they talked about it for a number of years. I think any school that does that, like if South Dakota State did that, we'd have to reframe our expectations. You can't say national championship anymore. You literally have to reframe it to a bowl game and a conference championship and so on. So I still think a young man or a young woman wants to play for the prize, whatever that is in your situation. And in FCS football, it's a national championship, and we've experienced that. You've watched it from a distance. That is the ultimate. And I think right now South Dakota State's where they should be.
Athletic Director Justin Sell just said today on Tom Izzo's show, he was asked about the FBS, do you have your eyes on FBS? And not necessarily, but he says, we're ready if we need to go. We're ready if we need to go. You're a part of the Jackrabbit inner working still and working with the university and alums. What do you think fans and donors are thinking about looking ahead to FBS?
I think the educated fan, and I don't mean that judgmentally at all, but I think the person that really knows the two different levels and the opportunities at the two different levels, I think they like the opportunity to compete for a national championship. I can't tell you the number of football alums, fans, people in South Dakota that aren't even Jackrabbits have talked about how special it was to experience that as a state. And so I think this is visionary, but I think we're not going to keep up with the Power Four in the FBS level. Nobody is. And so if we did go FBS, I would hope there'd be a promise that there's going to be a tournament like there is in FCS for that level, and you can compete for a national championship, because it's still, I don't care who you are, Little League, Pee Wee hockey, when you win, that's a special feeling.
Going to be fun tonight, downtown, Thirsties, Rapid City, book signing, Stig, and the rise of South Dakota State football. He'll be there with Josh Ronick, one of the all-time great players, coming up tonight, and we'll let him get to it. John Stiegelmeier back on the Nate Brown Show. Coach, we'll be in touch with you. Thanks a lot.
I can't wait, Nate. Take care.
Appreciate your time. John Stiegelmeier back on the Nate Brown Show, legendary head football coach for the Jacks. And he's downtown tonight, Rapid City. Thirsties, the place. Stop by, get a book, get it signed, talk with Coach Josh Ronick, and the Jacks fans. They'll be there tonight at Thirsties, downtown Main Street. That'll be fun. Good to get them on tonight. It is Thursday. It is happy hour. It's Rob Kegron. Here we go. Full hour, ready to go. We'll start with Rob next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Weekend meal rules, they're different. Lots of meats, messier bites, zero regrets. That's why you need Village Hearth. Freshly baked old-fashioned buns that hold up to jumbo hot dogs, juicy burgers, and bold ideas. From lazy lunches to neighborhood block parties, Village Hearth brings it all together. Whatever's on the grill, make the bun count. Village Hearth. Cookouts start here.
I was the cool dad. My kids wanted me to take them to the mall. I didn't think anything about doing it in front of them, even though I knew it was illegal. Then my oldest started driving. Like father, like son. Gotta read that text right now. But he took a life, and now his is shattered too.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling surplus vehicles and equipment for the city of Spearfish, South Dakota, including a 1984 Tucker Snowcat, a 2003 International 7600 dump truck with a snowplow, a 2019 Western truck mount sandbox. Here's 2 snow blades, an 09 Dodge Journey, and a 2010 Ford Edge, several pickups, steel cutoff, chainsaw, backhoe bucket, trencher bucket, and much more. Auction again begins to close 6 p.m. this evening. For more info and to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Take your adventures to the next level with a grand prize from Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort that'll have you exploring the Black Hills in style. We've teamed up with Polaris of the Black Hills to give away a 2026 Polaris RZR worth over $21,000 all month long. Earn free daily entries using your Clubhouse card when you play, or sign up for a free Clubhouse card today. The more you play, the more chances you have to win. Then be here May 30th and you could be our grand prize winner. Learn more at tinlizzy.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation, free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life, 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
Hanging with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we are underway. It is Thursday happy hour with Rob Kegron live in studio. He's back. I said in the first hour, Rob, I said, you know, you're friends with Chris Mad Dog Russo. I said, who gets more wound up, Mad Dog or Rob? And I said, it just depends if I can get Rob wound up. I mean, I can take you to another level.
We've done this now for a couple of years, few years actually. I think you've figured out what gets me riled up. And you're a really good talk show host, Nate, and you know, like, I just got to throw it out there, and this guy might take the bait again.
What's interesting is my wife told me the other night, I don't know if this is good or not, this is true, she said, you know how to make people mad. Now, I don't know what that means.
Do you make her mad? I guess that is the real question.
That was the problem, yeah. I think. So I don't know if it's a talent or not. By the way, I'm going to make you mad on this, and it's time to get into this on a Thursday happy hour on the Nate Brown Show. Welcome in. It's official. Big news today. It's official. D1 Board of Governors say the men's and women's basketball tournament is 76 teams. Do you think I cried about it to open the show today?
No, of course not. You're okay with it. You're absolutely okay with it. It's not like you don't have pom-poms on here. You're not jumping up and down.
No.
But you're completely okay with it.
Okay.
And, you know, you're wrong. I don't know what to tell you other than you're wrong.
Have you looked at the bracket? The new, they put it out, how it's going to be put on your paper, and they're going to have 6 games over here and 6 games over here, and it's above the 64. So it's kind of like the first 4, how they put them in, but they got 6 and 6, and it's the 11s, the 12s, and then it's the 15s and 16s. So that's how the bracket's going to look. So my question of the day is, and you can answer this here, please tell me you're going to have your bracket filled out by Monday night, Tuesday morning.
No.
That's what you need to do.
No, that's not the way to do it. That's absolutely not the way to do it.
It's 12 games. That's it. That's the tournament.
Anybody who runs a bracket is not going to count those games for points. Because
that's bogus. Who you got running a bracket, Larry?
I got a lot of people that run my brackets, and I'll say that they're not going to create a situation. 11s beat 6s all the times. We can't have you guessing as to which 11 is going to win.
That's why you have to fill it out.
No, you wait until now. You're going to wait until late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning. I guarantee. Here's how you do it. Who has which platform hosts the most brackets in this country?
ESPN.
Absolutely. Are you telling me that the official contest with ESPN is going to include all those separate games? No, they're not. They're not going to include that.
Do that.
These games are not tournament games. They're playing games to get into the tournament. The tournament begins on Thursday.
Wait, I just saw this. The NCAA Board of Governors have approved the move to 76 teams in the tournament. They don't say play-in. They say in the tournament. And so ESPN, so you're just going to let them play it out Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they're going to say, this is the real bracket.
But that's what they've done over the past number of years since we've had the Dayton game.
It was the first 4. That's
okay,
all.
so now
That's
because
all.
we're going to have 12 teams.
Yes,
so
12
now
games. 12 games.
I thought it was 12 games, 24 teams,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
That's
so
a
we're gonna
lot.
It's ridiculous is what it is. It's the NCAA Board of Dopes is what it should be, not the Board of Governors, because they're big dummies. I don't care.
Why are you so? Hang on a second.
Because it
Why are you
doesn't
so
make any
mad about
sense.
this?
Why do we need more why did we need 8 more teams in the tournament? Why did we need 8 more crappy big conference teams that couldn't even be 500 in their conference? Tell me why. How does that help the tournament? And in particular, after the last couple of years of the tournament with NIL stuff, where it's only the top teams that can win anyway. I mean, it used to be where 10 seeds and 11 seeds and 9 seeds and even a 12 seed could get to the Final Four. Those days are over with.
It is. So
why do we need to see more crappy teams?
No, you don't. You need to see better games, don't you? I got a listener text that came in. This is a great text from a listener. He says the tournament overall will be very similar. The first 12 games will be awesome.
Okay, they'll be awesome, but they don't count for anything because for 11
because
seeds,
you're not filling out your bracket.
Because for an 11 seed to win a tournament game, they have to beat a 6 seed. So the 13 seeds are not even going to be involved in this play-in, right?
Right.
How can a 13 seed win a tournament game, Nate? They beat a 4. Now you're telling me that we're going to rewrite the rules and say, oh, hey, 11 seed, hey, 12 seed.
Yes.
For you to win a tournament game, you only have to beat your competitor on the same level.
They got a better seed,
the
sorry.
13 has to beat a 4 to get.
They got a better seed. Sorry.
They got a better
11,
seed.
12. I got a better seed.
What about the 16? The 16, now your argument doesn't work. What about the 16? The 16 does not have a better seed, and they have to beat a 1, they have to beat another 16 seed.
Yes, and when they do get to play another 16 seed, they get money. They make money. You know why? You know why this is good? It's called $131 million. 131 for the next 6 years for all participating schools.
And
extra.
I don't have a problem with the money part of it. I get it. That makes sense to me. But it still doesn't mean that you're in the tournament because the tournament begins on Thursday, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain. It's that simple. It's been the same way since you and I were little kids. It's not going to change because if you wanted to really make it, find some bracket that works where everybody's in at the same time, everybody plays their first round game at the same time, not this insanity of, you literally described it. I know for people who are listening on the radio, you described it with your hands to me as this separate little bracket up here and this separate little bracket there.
Yes.
That's not part of the bracket then. Those are feeders to get into the tournament. It would be like if you had a state baseball tournament or a state basketball tournament, and here's the tournament. Could it be that's dissimilar to the way we do things in South Dakota high school basketball, where we have this 16 that goes, but the 8 is the only one that counts.
Well, that's the state tournament.
That's what counts. It gets into that state tournament. Everything else is a feeder into that.
What I'd like to know, you're coming up with all these new names for this feeder.
That's what it is. Play-in, feeder, extra.
What's this?
Superfluous.
Is this the Rob Kagron Invitational?
I wouldn't invite that many people. I'll tell you. I only invite the cream of the crop.
By the way, what do you say to that listener who said the games are going to be good? And in South Dakota State USD, they're going to be a 15. Let's say they're a 15. They play, whoever, and they win. That's money, and we're interested. You're going to be on this show on Thursday happy hour, and you're going to say, wasn't that game last night, Wednesday, when South Dakota State won, and now South Dakota State gets to play Kansas? That was good stuff.
Okay, the game might be competitive, and I get that. That's why they're matching up teams that are on the same seed level. But just because a game is good, the spirit of the tournament is there is a better team and a worse team, right? You've now changed the spirit of the tournament to say, let's put teams that are on the same level against each other so that they can go against the better team. You know what? That is not how this tournament was ever created.
That is good because I don't leave it up to Jimmy and Skippy, who just finished up their vegetable medley at the tournament committee, picking who's going to get in. They finish up their lunch and they say, we're going to pick this team, and they should have picked somebody else, so they're going to let them play it out. They're going to let them finally play it out instead of just saying, I'm going to pick Houston or I'm going to pick this team over this team. Why are you leaving it to Jim? Why are you leaving it to Jim at the table picking teams? Why not let them play in?
What makes you think that we're still not leaving it to them? We're just moving the goalposts. Now the people who are going to be pissed off are the ones who don't get into the tournament of 76. Right?
Well, that's fine.
Number 77 and 78 and 79 and 80 are going to be like, but how dare you put Auburn in there and you didn't put us in there?
Yeah, but at least Boise State would have got a shot. You'd have Boise State. Matt Kearney would be so happy they'd get to play Auburn. Who's better? Boise State or Auburn? You don't let Jim, after lunch, decide that.
Okay.
You let somebody play.
But what about the team that's right beyond Boise State and Auburn that says, we were just as good as them? Why didn't we get a chance to play in that game?
That's always going to happen. Sorry.
That's my point. You're still leaving it to the committee to decide who's getting into these matchups, these 11s and 12s and 15s.
But you bumped it up to 76 so Larry doesn't decide as much. There's on-the-court play.
I couldn't. But it's never been the spirit of the tournament to have to play someone on the same level for you to get into the tournament. It's never been that way.
Listener text coming in. Rob, get over it. Get with the times.
I am with the time. You're not with the time. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. The times say that 11 plays 6, 12 plays 5, 13 plays 4. 13 doesn't play 13. What should we have? 1 play 1 and decide who gets to play the other 16?
Now
what level do we? How far do we want to go down this rabbit hole, guys?
You're just crazy.
And gals, who's ever listening out there?
We're going 76 teams.
You're giving me a heart attack on the air right now.
Listener text. This is a good one. This is real. You can read it. I don't make these up. It says, I stand with Nate. I stand with Nate.
Well, you can keep standing. You're going to stand alone here very soon because I'm not standing with them. I'm going to walk out of here in a minute.
Can't believe it. So that's your prediction. ESPN's going to not start their bracket challenge until Thursday.
Right.
That's your prediction?
For a couple of reasons. One, I think they'll have some kind of offshoot to give you like extra points or something like that. But
extra points.
Here's why it won't
for the
count.
Extra games.
Here's why. When's the first game going to start on Tuesday? What time is the first game going to start on Tuesday?
Middle of the morning.
So the bracket comes out on Sunday night, right? And
Maybe, unless they might move stuff up. We'll see.
To when? Sunday
they
afternoon?
Might have to move it up a little bit.
Oh, then you got to change those conference championship games, which have TV contracts, and you're a media
might have to move
expert.
It up a little bit.
Okay. You get it off on Sunday, let's even say Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock or something like that, which they're not going to do because they want to be in prime time. But let's say 3 o'clock for the sake of argument, and they're going to play mid-morning on Tuesday. So now you have to get your bracket filled out in a matter of
yes, you do
of
on
36
Sunday
hours.
I had a listener.
That's not going to happen.
A listener called in and said he fills out his bracket Sunday night anyway. He's filled out his bracket,
but what? And he waits to submit it until he knows what happens in the first 4. He's waited all those years that he did that. He waits, and if he gets those wrong, he doesn't have to submit it until Thursday morning.
By the way,
so he submits it then.
We have a Brown Bracket Family Challenge. We have it. We do it. We usually do it Wednesday night. You know when we're going to do it? Monday night. And nobody's going to cry. I mean, my daughters might try and cry like you, but I'm going to tell them, don't cry. It's okay.
And I won't let them cry. I'm going to come over that night as well, and I'm going to let them know that their father has created a fake NCAA bracket. It's completely fake.
76 teams. Fill out your bracket Monday night. It'll be okay. Rob will do it after the show on Monday. Coming right back, I do want to get into something that's interesting. So South Dakota does not have mobile sports betting. This has been a discussion the last few years with the legislature saying, no, we're not going to send it to the people for a vote. You're going to keep it in Deadwood. You're going to go to the sports books. That's what you're going to do. Now there's big national companies that are doing something new. That's coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. the #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0, zip, zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's May 2028. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with 0 regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
And breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, everybody doing okay today? I hope so. Thursday edition of the program. You're on your drive home. Thanks for checking in. The Nate Brown Show live. Rob Kegron's in studio tonight. Thursday happy hour on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls. Great station. Fox Sports Rapid City. Good stuff. West River, thanks for checking in. So I have a listener text here about why the tournament's expanding as well. It is a lot of money coming in. That's not a surprise. We know it's about money. CBS and the broadcast partners are going to make a lot, millions and millions. They're going to sell more ads. So they said they're going to sell a lot more ads, and they're going to be focusing on beer and liquor is the report. Imagine that. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that stuff, and then the teams are going to get $131 million extra over the next 6 years. Listener text said that's why the tournament's expanding. It's more money. The colleges need the money. We need the money, Rob.
I understand it.
South Dakota State, USD, we need the money.
I understand it, but it doesn't make it part of the tournament. It makes it ancillary. It makes it some kind of fee.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe that.
Why not? If it's all about the money, why not have the 1 seeds and 2 seeds play each other to see who are the real 1 seeds?
They don't need the money. They have the money.
Okay, why not the 7 and 8s then?
It's going to be a bad look when South Dakota State or USD make the tournament, and there's going to be listeners that go back to the archives on this. They're going to say, Rob's saying they're not in the tournament.
They're not in the tournament unless they win that game. Then they're in the tournament. I will still maintain that position a year or 2 later.
By the way, here's a big story. I think this is big. I don't think a lot of people know about this. I think there's folks that listen to this program, huge sports fans and people that bet on sports and the whole thing. So you guys are plugged in. I don't know if you're this plugged in. So the South Dakota legislature has debated and voted the last 3-4 years about mobile sports wagering in South Dakota. And I hear it all the time, every year. People are sending me messages from Sioux Falls and wherever saying, we got to get mobile sports wagering so even if it's regulated through Deadwood and you don't have to reinvent the wheel, we got to get it on our phones, BetMGM app, and the revenue would stay in state and the tax benefits. And why do we let this money go out the state? People go over to Iowa and Sioux Falls, they just go over to Iowa and make bets over there. And so South Dakota's missed this, and the legislature did it again. They voted it down. They said it's just too, it's an addiction and it's too easy. We're going to keep it not mobile sports wagering. So that was killed again in the legislature this past winter. Here's something that you may not know about. FanDuel, DraftKings. These are two companies I know of. You've heard about Kalshi. You've heard about these. They do prediction markets now. So this just launched in 2026. This is mobile sport. This is mobile. And you could say what you want, Rob. They call it FanDuel Predicts. I've got it. I looked at it right here. It's on my phone. It's not FanDuel Sportsbook.
Right.
It's FanDuel Predicts. FanDuel said they're kind of late to this game. They've kind of soft launched it. And so they've gotten it now in all 50 states. FanDuel Predicts. Even if your state doesn't have mobile sports wagering, you can go on FanDuel Predicts tonight and pick the Pistons or the Cavaliers. They call it, well, you're predicting. You're not betting. You're just predicting it. Can you believe this, South Dakota? Do you think the legislators that voted this down knew about the prediction markets and thinking, well, boy, maybe we should go mobile sports wagering so we can keep some revenue in here? Now FanDuel and DraftKings are coming in with this thing?
No, Nate. Of course they have no idea what they're doing.
They don't do
Pierre.
that.
Absolutely not. This is sports gambling, okay? It's a creative way to do sports gambling. It's not the traditional way. You and I like to do traditional gambling, right? When it comes to sports betting, right?
Yes.
I like to bet on the game. Maybe I'll take, for some big games like a prop or something like that. You and I both like to do a parlay here and there. That's how I like to gamble. What's become of these prediction markets, and I have Kalshi on my phone. I have a buddy.
Oh, you do?
I have a buddy who has, what's the other one he has? Robinhood, I think.
Polymarket?
Yeah, he has Polymarket too. I think Robinhood is one of the other ones. And it was just a couple weeks ago. We were hanging out at a buddy's house, and there was a baseball game on that nobody cared about. It was Pittsburgh and Tampa. It was in extra innings. I remember it because it was pouring rain. And he takes out his phone and he's like, "What do you think about this game? Like, I'm gonna make a bet right now because it was tied going into extra innings." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
You were surprised, right?
I was like, "What do you?" Because I've seen like the Kalshi stuff and like we can do that here in South Dakota. And he's like, "Absolutely." And he pulled out his phone and he threw like $5 on the rest of that game.
Right.
And it was at certain odds. And then one of the teams scored and the odds start changing. I'm like, that's live sports gambling.
Yes,
live sports gambling.
You and I in South Dakota, which is outlawed, and you have to go to Deadwood to bet on sports. And I love the sports books. That's where you go. FanDuel and DraftKings and Kalshi, they're working around the system.
This is it's a great way to say it. They're working around. They're being creative to say, well, it's not a tradition because it's not traditional, right? You can't just. Yes, you're going to make a bet at the beginning before the game starts, but you're kind of it's essentially the way they would call it. It's like stock trading, right? You're buying a position, right?
I guess
that's the way they're getting around.
That's what they're saying.
You're buying a position in this, and based on where people are at, that's how much you could get paid out, right? And so it's not it's not that different though, right? Because if you and I want to bet on a particular team and there's a ton of people betting on that team, the odds are going to keep changing, right? It's why odds move, right?
I mean, it's crazy. It's sports betting. And all it is they change the words. I looked at the app. It's called FanDuel Predicts. And then when you make the quote-unquote bet, it's called your prediction is this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wild. And by the way, you say, well, that's just picking games. No, there's parlays. They don't call them parlays. I saw this in the model. It says combos.
Yep.
So they serve up. You want the combos? Red Sox, Cubs, Phillies. If they all win, here's your prediction win.
Yeah.
They've got it.
That's a parlay. That's absolutely a parlay.
They're duping South Dakota we missed it in the winter. So now the whole argument of, well, people are addicted to this stuff. You can't put it in their phones. You can't do that. I do get that. There are people that are prone to that. It's a bad thing. You got to have your own self-control. And But that argument now, hey, we can't do it. Well, that's out the window. That's gone now because FanDuel and DraftKings are in here doing it.
Absolutely. And in fact, if anything, I think this might, if you were prone to being addicted to this, I think the way that this kind of gambling works would actually lead you down a rabbit hole even more because the odds are constantly changing, right, as things happen in the game, and you're given this opportunity every time. Wow, I lost. It looks bad right now. Let me go after this one, and you start chasing, and that's obviously anybody who knows anything about sports gambling. That's the way to really lose a lot of money and get yourself in trouble.
Live betting, but on this, it's live predicting. They just keep it coming.
And it's every time. Like, if you keep your phone open, the odds are going to change constantly. You're going to feel like you have an opportunity.
It's wild.
And there's nothing different about it other than the words, right? The vocabulary that they're using is different than sports gambling vocabulary, but the essence is the same. I mean, there is no difference other than the fact that it's playing a little bit more against what the rest of the general public is doing. Sometimes it's not as strictly correlated with sports gambling that the line is going to move certain ways. It's more about who's gambling on that. This is more just about percentages. But that's like the only nuance about this. This is sports gambling.
Does FanDuel predicts, DraftKings predicts, whatever these are, Kalshi, these are live right now. Does that change South Dakota legislators this next winter? This will be a full year now. Does that change their mindset? I would think if people get plugged in and they're knowledgeable and our elected representatives should be knowledgeable, they better be aware of these prediction markets.
To me, they're faced with a decision of one of two things. Either, first of all, they need to be educated on what this actually is. And once they are, and you would think somebody is going to bring this to their attention.
You would think, like the Deadwood guys, they wanted it mobile this year. Yep. Deadwood was behind. Hey, we want to go mobile now.
Yep.
And they didn't do it still. The Deadwood operators are going to say, we're losing here.
Yep, absolutely. The problem becomes, though, like now we're in May, right? Like, we don't have an opportunity to do it. I think I understand politics of this state at this point, living here almost 10 years. I'm pretty sure they can't do anything until January comes around. Right. So now we're stuck, right? And so where it really hurts the Deadwood guys is come fall, right? Like when
you're going to miss a whole football season
a whole football season that you're going to give up because they somehow thought that they were regulating and completely left open this massive loophole for not the small guy to do anything, but the big guys to come in and take the market share.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm plugged in on this. You're plugged in on it. I had a guy tell me about this in Nebraska. Man, Nebraska's the same way. They don't do mobile sports betting.
Yep.
And he was telling me, he goes, hey, I can do it. It's just on the Predicts thing. I go, what are you talking about? They just launched it in 2026, and they're doing it in all states. Even if mobile sports betting is outlawed, the prediction markets are live. It is wild. And I wonder, Deadwood just had a great sports betting year this past season. They had one of their biggest. They had an increase. They had big sports betting year in Deadwood. They believe if they had mobile sports betting from Sioux Falls to Deadwood, they would do even better.
Of course they would. They absolutely would do better, right?
And then the tax revenue, by the way, stays in South Dakota.
100%. In fact, if anything, I think the way that these prediction apps and prediction markets, the way that they kind of lay out on their apps, the way the bets look, I actually think it's a bit deceptive, right? Like, we'll put $20 in on this bet and we'll return you $22.50. We're both gamblers. If I had to put $20 to win $2.50,
I know.
I would never make that bet.
Right.
That is a big.
Yeah.
And it's like, it feels like you're gaining a little bit of. No, it's the opposite. You have to risk $20 to win $2.50.
Correct.
And when that giant upset happens, you lost your $20. And I think it's a little bit predatory.
The citizens are going to have to decide, and the legislators. I understand some people don't like sports betting and mobile sports wagering. Do you want FanDuel to take the money? Because people are doing it. Or do you want South Dakota to have a benefit of this when it's going on anyway? That's really where it's at. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers? We got to talk about him next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big money on your outdoor projects now at Menards. Create stunning patios, walkways, and retaining walls with our huge in-stock selection of durable concrete blocks ready to take home today. Plus, get free estimates with our easy-to-use design program in-store or on Menards.com. Save big money on our 12-inch smooth patio block on sale now through May 10th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Let's be honest. Most big shoe stores just point you to a wall and they wish you luck. Not at Trav's Outfitter. We actually help you find the right fit. From boots to athletics or casuals, no matter what you do, we'll help you find the right pair. Stop out to win Luke Bryan tickets, and you can find us in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at dakotadiscountrv.com.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. KWSN, Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Busy show tonight. Good stuff. John Stiegelmeier was on earlier, former head coach. You know Coach Stig, right? Jackrabbit legend. He's in Rapid City tonight. Book signing tonight. Thirsty's downtown. So we'll talk Jack football earlier on the podcast. If you miss parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. That's the point. If you miss guest segments, the Nate Brown Show podcast is on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Just search The Nate Brown Show, and you can listen to every show on demand. So we know you can't catch all 2 hours on the radio, but you can bring us up on all your podcast platforms. Search The Nate Brown Show. Rob Kegron's in tonight, Thursday happy hour. Boy, you just picked the great days to come in. You know, you lose your mind over a tournament going to 76 teams, and yet you can bet on those games, yet you're going to act like they don't exist. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You act like they don't exist. They're not part of the tournament. You just throw them away like it's some It's just you're in your own little world.
No, I'm going to bet on the games because they're basketball games, but that doesn't make them part of the tournament. That's just another basketball game to bet on.
What type of game is that? The regular season game?
A play-in tournament game. It's a play-in game.
I'm going to start calling them the Rob Kegron fake news games.
They didn't even call them around going into this. They called them what? The first four, right?
Yeah.
The first four of what? Of to get into the tournament.
What? And they haven't called them anything. They haven't called them anything yet. So I wonder what we're going to call them.
Play-in tournament.
I wonder what we're going to call them. Another highlight of today, Aaron Rodgers. That's Rob's boy. That's his boy. Aaron Rodgers is looking like he's getting close to signing with the Steelers. Everybody's reporting he's coming into Pittsburgh. They're hoping to get a deal done. They don't know if it's going to be this weekend or what, but he came from wherever. Maybe he's back from Egypt. I don't know. But he came in. He's going to sign, I think, Steelers. What type of money would you pay Aaron Rodgers? Because they don't have anybody. So now he's got him. He's got him, and then he's got guys like you saying he can actually play still. Colin Cowherd said, well, he can kind of play. He elevated the Steelers. It's like, elevated him from what? I mean, this guy is a hat rack. He's done. It's over. I mean, this is like playing in the play-in games.
It is nothing like that because they actually played in a playoff game last year. Did they not?
Where'd they go?
Okay. Where did a bunch of other teams that have crappy
AFC
quarterbacks
was wide open, and they couldn't even make it.
They made the playoffs with a guy who's 40-something years old, Nate, and you want to say that he's completely done. He had 3,300 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Can he move it back there? No, absolutely not. Is he fragile back there? Absolutely. Did he play the whole season? Yes. Did he take his team to the playoffs? Yes. Can he make the throws still? Absolutely. Is he anywhere near what he used to be? No, but would I take him over 10 quarterbacks in the league? Probably.
Keep in mind, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, terrible injuries. The Bengals, terrible.
Okay.
So his division was a walkthrough.
Sure.
A walkthrough.
Well, and the division absolutely was riddled by injury and was bad, and I get that. But there are so many quarterbacks in this league that are worse than Aaron Rodgers. You just don't like Aaron Rodgers. You never have liked him.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and he used to be good. He's not even close to good anymore. I can't do it. So what are you going to pay him here? They tendered him. It's called a $15 million tender, but reporting saying he's going to get more than that. So what are you talking?
I mean, what's a low-end quarterback now getting? $20, $25 million?
Oh, my gosh.
That's what he's going to get,
my
for sure.
Goodness.
Absolutely. He's going to get $20 to $25 million.
$20, $25 million for Aaron?
But, again, who's better? Like, I can name 8 off the top of my head.
Murray.
He is not.
The Vikings are going to get...
He is not.
Oh, he's way better.
What makes you think he's better?
Oh,
what has he shown over the last number of years that makes him better?
Oh, my gosh.
The one good year he
had? That he can actually run. That he can actually do something. He can sling it, run.
And yet his team got rid of him, threw him out the door, and you picked him up off the...
So did the Jets.
The heap.
I mean, the Jets got rid of Aaron. They didn't even want Aaron. That's the Jets. They're going to bring in my boy Russell Wilson of
Jets
all things.
As a backup. The Jets are a dumpster fire, all right? I mean, the Jets are a complete mess. And Rodgers was not bad in the 1 year he was really with them at all. The first year, of course, he was hurt.
So let's put it up. You're going to go 20, 25 million. I think it's probably going to be like 20. But it's up to Aaron because, he thinks he's really cool. And so he's going to say, hey, guys, I mean, I played on a discount for you, so I need some bucks here. Well, Aaron, you're 42 years old. I need some bucks. So he's going to want a bunch of bucks. And then what's he going to do with that? What are the Steelers going to do? Because the Bengals are going to be better. The Ravens are going to be better. So what are the Steelers going to do?
Yeah, it's hard to say. They're probably only a 9-win team, but who do they have going for them right now? Mason Rudolph is going to be your quarterback. Drew Aller, who they drafted out of Penn State. I mean, he's not quarterbacking in week 1. So you basically need a stopgap anyway. Does he make you respectable? Yeah, he does.
Respectable.
A 9-win team. If everything went perfectly, maybe a 10-win team. Yeah, I guess. I think that's the ceiling, right? I don't think you can go any higher than that, even with Aaron. But
even with Aaron,
he's better. He's better than the alternatives. That's for sure.
Well, there's no alternatives in Pittsburgh, so he's got him. And the Steelers are going to bring him in. And they're going to have to pay him. And Mike McCarthy, how about that? How about the reunion?
I like that. That's an interesting storyline.
Isn't that interesting? Aaron and Mike, they ought to be getting along here at about week 5. Coming right back, we'll wrap it up. College football, is it going to expand? College basketball's expanding. College football's on the verge. Rob's thoughts as we wrap up next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors? Call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Standing water or high humidity? Nasty odors or dangerous mold? Call Blackburn. Critters, bugs, or other pests? That's right, call Blackburn. It's a fact. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Call Blackburn Foundation Repair today.
Mom, can we please go to Watiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Watiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Watiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WatikiWaterPark.com.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling surplus vehicles and equipment for the city of Spearfish, South Dakota, including a 1984 Tucker Snowcat, a 2003 International 7600 dump truck with a snowplow, a 2019 Western truck mount sandbox. Here's 2 snow blades, an 09 Dodge Journey, and a 2010 Ford Edge, several pickups, steel cutoff, chainsaw, backhoe bucket, trencher bucket, and much more. Auction again begins to close 6 p.m. this evening. For more info in the bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly cloudy skies tonight with lows around 44. Winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear tomorrow, 72. Tomorrow night, 48. High temperatures reach up to 64 Saturday with thunderstorms likely. 71, a blend of clouds and sun Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 60 degrees.
Isn't it time for new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen? With mortgage interest rates where they are right now, so many people are renovating their own homes rather than moving. And there's never been a better time to invest in awesome new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. Renewal by Andersen's legendary windows have been the best you can get for decades, but many people don't know that Renewal by Andersen also has incredible new ensemble entry doors and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows, which are winning rave reviews from clients. Renewal by Andersen's windows, ensemble entry doors, and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows will make your home so much more energy efficient on cold winter nights or hot summer days. Those new windows and doors will make your home so much more quiet and secure. We hear that all the time. Please visit RBARapidCity.com to schedule a free consultation. Be sure to ask about our great offers and really attractive financing options right now. Renewal by Andersen Windows and Entry Doors. Isn't it time?
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, welcome in tonight, and glad you're here, but we only have 2 minutes left. Let's do it right. The Nate Brown Show on tonight, Fox Sports Radio. Rob Kegron in Thursday Happy Hour. If you missed parts of the show, it was fun tonight. Good information. And then some of Rob Kegron's antics makes for a good show. How about this? 24 teams in the college football playoff. That's what's next. So the women's tournament went to 76 teams today. So we're going to have that in March. If you're in a bracket pool, don't get in Rob's because he's going to screw up half the games because now you're going to put him in his bracket. But 24 teams. So what if you? What are you going to let these guys in? Is this real? The next 12 that are added to the 24 team thing? What do you think?
I think it's absolutely crazy as well. Why do we need 24 teams to determine one winner? We could have been fair. Like of the 12 teams that were in, how many actually of them had a real chance to win the whole thing this past year? I mean, what, 3 or 4?
Right.
That's
right.
it.
I do agree with that.
Now we want to go to 24 to determine what. So, like, Iowa would have been, I think Iowa was like 22 or something in the.
Well, you got to put them in. The Hawkeyes are in.
I don't want to knock Iowa because I know there are a lot of Iowa fans around here, but they didn't deserve to play for the national championship. They didn't deserve to play in any tournament. Most of those teams, if of the 12, most of them didn't deserve to get in. Why do we want to double that to 24?
By the way,
for more games, I know.
I do think the regular season starts getting impacted because now you're going to lose 2-3 games, and Alabama's not going to care.
Alabama, all of the powerhouses, right? Ohio State,
care.
We don't care if we just going to set ourselves up for the playoffs.
Good. That is not good. No conference championships is what the coaches said as well. So coaches said we want 24 teams. We don't want conference championships. There's going to be more on this. They want to start the playoff earlier in place of the conference championships in December. For Rob Kagron, it's Nate Brown. That's it for a Thursday happy hour. Thanks for listening. The podcast going up now.
Could there be a better name? Auto